Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of St. Joseph's Prep Baseball here on WSJP, where today the Explorers of LaSalle College High School travel to LaSalle University to take on the Hawks of St. Joseph's Prep. LaSalle, they have been dominant in their games this season. A 14-2 record, a 9-1 record in the PCL, ranked 12th in the state of Pennsylvania. And today they look to take on the Hawks, who are the obvious underdogs heading into this game, ranked 183rd in the state of Pennsylvania. But the Hawks have been great over the past couple of PCL games. In the last two PCL games against Archbishop Carroll and Bonner Prendy, the Hawks have put up 20 runs in those two combined games. And today they look to take down the number one seed, LaSalle College High School. For today's broadcast, I'm Ryan Sullivan, and normally I'd introduce my partner for today's game, but it's just me, ladies and gentlemen, just me once again. Obviously, you recognize me from the game against Episcopal Academy where the Hawks fell 4-0, and now I do it again against LaSalle College High School. So it'll just be me for today's broadcast, and it is actually just me for literally everything, ladies and gentlemen. So the camera, it will not be moved too much. I've tried to get you guys the best angle possible based off what we have. I'm trying to get the pick off to first, trying to get first base in there to pick the pick off. I hope that is good enough for you all because, yeah, it's just me. No cameraman today. It is, yeah. So we'll get into it. Before the Hawks today in this game, they pull out the man who has been the most consistent and some say the most dominant for St. Joseph's Prep, Chris Grasso, the sophomore this season in 6 appearances, a 2.74 ERA, 2 wins, 2 losses, and he looks to shut down LaSalle College High School here today. Up first for LaSalle, Dan Murray in 15 games played, a 333 average and 52 plate appearances, 13 hits, and 11 RBIs, 5 doubles over the course of the season. And now Grasso looks to get things done here against Murray. First pitch on the outside, but it is going to be called for a strike. And now Grasso, good start for him. We'll see if he can keep this going with the 0-1. This next one on the inside. Ball, good placement there by Mayo Eineko, and the catcher behind the plate for today's game. Very similar lineup for the Hawks of St. Joseph's Prep. Not too many changes from what we've seen in PCL play. We'll get into that when the Hawks do get up to bat. But here's the 1-1 from Grasso. That one in there for a strike. Umpire calls him a bit late. Gets me a little nervous. And now the 1-2 from Grasso. Trying to get his first out of the game. Here it is. That one low. Ball 2. Grasso not trying to give Murray anything to swing at. Good decision there by Grasso. You don't want to give him anything down the middle. Obviously, this LaSalle team, great when it comes to hitting the baseball. We know their team batting average is elite, so you don't want to give them anything to possibly hit at early in the count. But now it's all tied up 2-2. Here it is. That one hit high in the air. It's a bit deep. Robbie Grasso in on it and makes the play for the first out of the inning. And the Hawks bench is absolutely electric to start this one. Obviously what we know as the bench mafia from the Hawks is they are loud. And now Grasso, the first pitch to Clark coming in. We'll give out his stats in just a second. Here's the first pitch. That one drops in there for a strike. And Clark this season in 15 games played, a 500 batting average in 50 plate appearances, 18 RBIs, 3 doubles, and a home run. Can't get much better than that. Second pitch from Grasso. Got him to swing late there. And now it is a quick 0-2. And now Clark stepping out of the batter's box momentarily. And now the 0-2 from Grasso. Trying to get a second out. Here it is. That one in there. Strike 3 called. Got him swinging. Chris Grasso, his first strikeout of the game. And that is how the Hawks needed to come out, ladies and gentlemen. Hot on the mound. And that is what Chris Grasso is bringing so far for the Hawks. Up next for LaSalle, Eamon Chandler, a Virginia Tech commit, 16 games played, a 227 average, and 15 plate appearances. 15 runs, 10 hits, 7 RBIs, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. So he can hit it anywhere on the field. First pitch to Chandler, that one high, ball 1. And Grasso starting out so great to start this game. If you are at home, knock on wood there. He's played so great to start. Hopefully for him, he can keep this one going. Here's the 1-0 from Grasso. That one, a swing and a miss. Now Grasso's trying to continue here, and the LaSalle bench definitely not as loud as the Hawks. As the Hawks are bringing the energy here. And now the 1-1 from Grasso. That one drops in there for a strike. Great break on that ball from Chris. And now he has the opportunity to get out of the inning here. Waves off the first pitch, likes the second one. Here it is, the 1-2 to get out of the inning. This one low. Did it hit him? Yes, it did. And LaSalle get a man on base with 2 outs. Definitely say Chandler maybe a bit lucky there as he was able to get on a 1-2. Just not a great pitch there from Grasso. And now Caden Schmidt up for LaSalle in 16 games played, a .435 average, 54 plate appearances, 20 hits, 14 runs, 10 RBIs, 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. And now tries to advance Chandler over at first. He's taking a pretty decent lead. Here's the first pitch. That one in there for a strike. And now the 0-1 from Grasso. Throw back to first, and tag from Keenan. Not in there close enough. And we will do the 0-1 again. The 0-1 from Grasso. Here it is. Quick pitch. That one up the third base line. Foul. Grasso really quick there off the mound. Not necessarily sure if Schmidt really expected them to go that early, but he certainly did. And now Grasso up in the count 0-2. And now another opportunity for Chris to get out of the inning. Waves off Einecone a few times. Giving a long look to Chandler back at first. The 0-2 from Grasso to get out of the inning. Taking his time there. Here's the pitch. That one. It hit him. That one hit Schmidt as well. And once again, you could say LaSalle got lucky there. That there was a hit by pitch. And now they got 2 runners on. Up next for LaSalle, Luke Borgman, a UMass Lowell commit, 14 games played, a .302 average, 45 plate appearances, 2 runs, 13 hits, 12 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a home run. And now Grasso gonna have to reset here as he's had a few opportunities, just has really not been able to take advantage. First pitch. That one hit. Foul. And the catcher for today's game is Borgman. Now to take the knee pads or the leg guards, whatever you call them, off. Another big lead taken by Chandler over at second. Second pitch inside, ball 1. Borgman steps out of the box momentarily. Einecone took a big leap over to throw the ball back to Grasso, maybe just to try and preserve his energy, as obviously you could probably tell maybe Grasso maybe a bit discouraged after those hit by pitches. And now the 1-1 from Chris. Here it is. That one hit into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Chandler rounding third. He's going home. He is safe. And now LaSalle have taken a 1-0 lead over the Hawks. And a complimentary runner coming out for LaSalle. That being Wambled. And now we will see if LaSalle are able to continue their hot streak at the plate. And now you hear the LaSalle bench really coming out to make their voices heard. First pitch from Grasso, a bit high, 1-0. And now Boganski up for LaSalle. And now the 1-0 from Chris pitch. That one high as well, ball 2. And now the 2-0 from Grasso. Trying not to give up bases loaded here. And now the 2-0. That one high, ball 3. And it is not a great start to this at-bat if you are the sophomore Chris Grasso. The 3-0 coming in. Here it is. And that one is outside, ball 4. Now bases loaded for LaSalle. And now they see if they can add more to their lead. Matt Mullen up for LaSalle. 16 games played, a .282 average, 51 plate appearances, 10 runs, 11 hits, 7 RBIs, and a double on the year. And I'm sure LaSalle would love to see a double possibly. That one low, ball 1. And now the bench for the Prep has quieted down, and you hear it coming from the Explorers. Grasso waving off Einerman a few times in this inning. The 1-0, that one drops in there for a strike. And that is the way you want to start if you're Grasso, throwing 5 straight balls. You want to just try and drop one in there, try and lay the foundation for the rest of the at-bat, as you are definitely going to need this out. You don't want to go up multiple runs to a team that has been just dominating when it comes to hitting this season. I've read the batting averages out to you all, and I'm sure you know that this team can hit. And now the 1-1. That one hit to second. Fielded cleanly by Murtha. One hand. Makes a play over at first for the 3rd out of the inning. But the damage is done by LaSalle. They're able to get a run. And some could say that maybe we were a bit lucky on that. And I'm not saying that as a homer for St. Joseph's Prep, but you got to say that because of the fact that, you know, Grasso hit 2 runners. He was looking good out there, and you know, then he just gives up that hit and gives up a run. So if I'm a St. Joe's Prep fan, I'm not getting too discouraged. You know, if you're one of those, if you're a St. Joe's Prep fan right now, you're thinking, oh, you know, we're down to LaSalle early. Let me tune out because, you know, this might get ugly. I would advise you to stay here and to watch this game because the Prep, they've been hot right now. And just because of some unlucky hit-by pitches does not mean that the game is over. Only 1/2 of an inning, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get discouraged by that. And if you're LaSalle, it's obviously something you got to look forward to. You took advantage of mistakes that the Hawks have made, and you've seen the Hawks make errors over the course of the season. And I would definitely say if you're LaSalle that you would stay encouraged by this half inning, and you know you took advantage of the Prep's mistakes, and you want to keep going for that. You know that it's not going to be a perfect game of baseball. Nobody plays a perfect game of baseball, but you want to keep this going, and you also want to try and get runs and get hits that are, I wouldn't say not lucky, because obviously hits are, you know, a hit's not going to be too lucky too often. But you want to try and, you know, get those hits that'll really seal the deal into the Prep if you kind of get what I'm laying down here. And Pitching for LaSalle, Jack Pye, a William and Mary commit, and he has been their ace. 7 appearances this season, a 1.06 ERA, 4 wins, 1 loss, and they have put out their best against the Prep. And I'm sure everybody who's watching knows the rivalry between the Hawks and LaSalle, as it is just absolutely incredible, the games that we've seen, and hopefully today no different. First pitch to Emil Einacone, that one in there for a strike. And Einacone, the catcher in this game, has consistently been batting leadoff. And we're going to do his stats in just a second. Second pitch, hit up the first baseline, foul, and now it's a quick 0-2. Einacone in 13 games played this season, a 300 average and 50 plate appearances, 12 hits, 4 RBIs. And now he looks to get on base here, but it's going to be tough as it's a quick 0-2. Here it is, that one low and outside, ball 1. It's 1-2 now. Jack Pye trying to get his first strikeout of the game. That one on the outside, ball 2. Kind of like I was saying for Grasso, you don't want to give your batter anything to hit off of on an 0-2 or 1-2. You know, tie the count up, maybe give your best here. We'll see if he does. The 2-2, that one hit high, foul. Foul, but it looks like there's an out. It's kind of hard to see. I can barely see anything over the fence, but however the out happened, it happened. And Emilio Einacone pops out on the foul ball. Not a great way to start if you're the Hawks, obviously. Good contact there by Einacone, and Pat Vezza up for the Hawks. First pitch in there for a strike. And now second pitch to Vezza. He hits this one foul. And now Vezza, in 13 games played, a 3.08 average and 46 plate appearances, 10 runs, 12 hits, 3 RBIs. And now the 0-2 to Vezza. That one looked to be in there, but called a ball. You can tell that LaSalle wanted that one. Here's the 1-2. That one hit foul, almost at the light post there, but it bounces out onto the bleachers. Hopefully that didn't hit a car. We've actually not had a car hit this season. Once again, knock on wood. I've had a ball almost hit me, though. The 1-2, that one low. Ball 2 now. And now Pye seems like he gets up in these counts and then tries to give his batters just something to look at on the first few, and that's definitely nothing to criticize him over. Just an interesting approach. Here's the 2-2. Vezza swings and misses on that one. And there are now 2 outs in the inning. And that is the start you wanted if you are LaSalle. Pat Vezza goes down swinging. Robbie Grasso now up for the Hawks. And obviously we know what Robbie Grasso has done this season. Probably been the Hawks' best hitter. Committed to Lehigh. 14 games played, a 357 average. 51 plate appearances. 15 runs, 15 hits, 10 RBIs. First pitch, not in there for a ball. Pye's pitching a little too quickly for my liking. Can't even read out the stats. That pitch, a bit low, good framing, but called a ball. And the Prep finally able to get ahead in a count here. Grasso fouls that one off. Swung a bit late. You can tell he's a bit frustrated with that one. Coach Muth saying something to the umpire. Not necessarily sure what it was. The 2-1. Grasso hits that one foul. I don't even know where it went. I think it actually went into the woods behind me here. And now Pye able to get back into the count. It's now 2-2. Here's the 2-2. That one on the outside. 3-2 now. A full count. High pressure situation. If you're Robbie, you want to get on for your brother Chris. Here's the 3-2. That one hit to short. Fielded cleanly. Play over at first is made for the third out of the inning. The Hawks go down 1-2-3. And now the bats of LaSalle come back up as it is 1-0 LaSalle College High School as we go into the second inning. We'll take a break here on WSJP. We'll be right back. Back at it here on WSJP for the second inning of work. LaSalle College High School up 1-0 over the Hawks as we go into the second inning. And now up for LaSalle, it'll be Ronnie Raby, 15 games played, a 167 average and 42 plate appearances, 9 runs, 6 hits, 4 RBIs, a double, and 3 triples. LaSalle, they have a lot of guys that can really just hit it all over the field, and it's honestly what you want to see. You get a lot of variety in your lineup, and that's why they've been so dominant this season. Here's the first pitch from Chris Grasso. That one in the dirt, ball 1. And as I've said, if you're just tuning into the broadcast, Grasso, while he did give up a run, a few hit-by pitches on, those counts that he was definitely favorable in, and nothing to get too discouraged on if you are Chris Grasso. Here's the 1-0. That one high, ball 2. And now if you're LaSalle, you'd love to get your leadoff guy on, especially with the top of the lineup coming up soon. Here's the 2-0. That one low, ball 3. We've had some debate here on WSJP. Do you swing at a 3-0? I've repeatedly said on the broadcast, you never swing at a 3-0. That's just something you don't do. But we've had some friendly debates about that on our broadcasts. But maybe the audience at home can debate for themselves. Here's the 3-0 from Grasso. That one right down the plate for a strike. And now the 3-1. Grasso trying to get back into the count here. We'll see if he can do so. Here's the 3-1. That one hit. Not hit, but actually in for a strike. I don't know why I said hit there. Full count. First mess up of the game, ladies and gentlemen. But the 3-2 from Grasso. See if he can get back in the count here. Stay in it. Here it is. That one. Swing and a miss. And Grasso gets back in the count and gets Raby to go down on strikes for the first out of this inning. Up next for LaSalle, it'll be Keegan Wade. 14 games played, a 438 average and 23 plate appearances, 16 runs, 7 hits, 8 RBIs, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run. And now Grasso trying to get a very high leverage out here. That one in there for a strike. And now the 0-1 from Chris. Here it is. That one hit the short. Fielded cleanly by Sittler. Play over to first is made for the second out of the inning. And now, already back to the top of the lineup for the Explorers. Murray is up, and he's 0 for 1 in this game. But if you look at LaSalle, they've had 6 batters, or 9 batters total, but only 6 total at-bats, or plate appearances, I guess I should say. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. And Murray kind of getting pulled to the side at the current moment in time. Gets a timeout called by LaSalle. And we'll momentarily wait here, but LaSalle, they take it, once again, as I mentioned, taking advantage of the Hawks' mistakes. Only 1 hit in this game, but are still up 1-0. And now Grasso trying to get out of the inning here. First pitch here to Murray. That one high, ball 1. The LaSalle bench just continuing to stay loud, be loud in this game. Here's the 1-0. That one a bit high, good framing, but it's going to be called for a ball. 2-0 from Grasso about to come in. Grasso sometimes have gotten himself down in the count, maybe trying to get his batters to swing. Here's the 2-0. That one on the outside, ball 3. Grasso in his first at-bat in the inning was able to get down in the count 3-0 and then got right back into it. Was able to get a strikeout on that at-bat. And now the 3-0. That one in there for a strike. Umpire making these calls a little too late for my liking. now the 3-1 from Grasso. So we continue to get back into this count. As the momentum off the last pitch, the 3-1, ball 4. And Murray gets on with a walk, and this is kind of how it went in the first inning for LaSalle. They were able to get runners on off of hit by pitches and walks and stuff like that, and then were able to turn that into a run. And now Clark is up for LaSalle. He's 0 for 1 in today's game. And now Grasso, once again, trying to get out of this inning. Giving a long look to Murray, back over at first. It's been a theme for Grasso in this game. Here's the first pitch. That one in there for a strike. Coach Muth telling Will Ward to move over to his left just a bit. And we'll see if that has any effect in the game, but Coach Muth knows what he's doing. It's the reason that he was hired to be the head baseball coach just this past offseason. Here's the 0-1. That one in there for a strike. Got him swinging on that one a bit late. And now it is quickly 0-2. Hear the claps from the St. Joe's Prep crowd. Got a good turnout here today from parents and fans and all that. Even staff from the Hawks. Always love seeing the staff from St. Joseph's Prep come out and support the guys. And now the 0-2 from Grasso to get out of the inning. Here it is. That one in there. Strike 3 called. Got him swinging. Chris Grasso gets out of the inning. Lets a man up, but he doesn't go anywhere. And the Hawks able to get out of the inning. And we'll see if their bats now can come up and try to do something. As now Grasso with 3 strikeouts in this game has gotten Clark on 2 occasions. And now we'll see. We'll see if the bats can come up for the Hawks. As you went down 3 straight times. You have Chris Grasso coming up. Obviously, he just pitched, so not necessarily sure how his at-bat's going to go because of the fact that he literally just pitched. He might be a bit, tired. Might have to get, warmed up or, have to, maybe this will just to keep him warm. I'm not necessarily sure, but I'm not really sure how Chris Grasso is going to take to this at-bat because of the fact that he literally just pitched. He's literally now right out there warming up, as you can see on your screen right in front of us. So that's kind of tough for a pitcher to go right back to the dugout after just pitching a pretty decent inning, and now you got to come up there to bat. That's got to be tough for any pitcher, but if anybody can do it, it's definitely Chris Grasso, as we know what he's been able to do this season. I'll reel off his stats in just a second, but it is absolutely incredible, not only with his really good 2.74 ERA coming into the game, but also coming into the game in 14 total games played, a 4.19 average and 36 plate appearances, 6 runs, 13 hits, 8 RBIs, 3 doubles on the season. So we know what he can do hitting the baseball. And we'll see if he can continue to do that in this game. And the Prep are going to need it, as I'm sure they would love to get their first guy on. And who better to have it start than Grasso? First pitch to him, in there for a strike. And now the 0-1 here from Pye with a great first inning. That one in there for a strike, a bit off speed, break a bit late, and a complaint from the Prep have been that Pye's been pitching a little bit too fast. That's been a common complaint from the bench so far. Nothing really been done about it. Here's the 0-2, that one in the dirt, ball 1. Sal's infield playing a bit back. Here's the 1-2. Grasso hits that one foul. That one, I thought it was coming straight for me. And my fear of the ball hitting me is still in full effect. That's not going away. Hopefully you've tuned in to the broadcast. You wouldn't know. Here's the 1-2 to Grasso. That one hit to second. It gets through the gap for a base hit. Chris Grasso gets on. And that is what the Prep needed to get things going. And that will bring up Will Ward for the Hawks, and he's been part of their power so far this season. He's kind of stepped into that third base role a bit in the midway point of the season. In 10 games played, a 167 average and 28 plate appearances, 5 runs, 3 hits, 6 RBIs, and a home run. And this one, low, ball 1. Grasso going to hold it at first. We'll see if the Prep can continue the bats here. The 1-0 from Pye, continuously looking back. Grasso at first. That one drops in there for a strike. And now Pye. Possible double play opportunity for LaSalle. I see them playing a bit in. That one high, 2-1. It's going to be hard to get Chris Grasso, though, over at second. So he's got that speed. And now timeout called from Ward. And you see the Prep, they've tried to call timeout a few times in this game, but have not been granted. I think that is their first opportunity there. And now the 2-1 to Ward. That one hit into left center field for a base hit. That one going to get through the gap. Grasso going to third. He's in there safely. Ward into second with a double. And that is what you needed if you are St. Joe's Prep. A double from Will Ward. And now that gets 2 runners in scoring position, and we'll see if Johnny Sittler can bring them in for St. Joseph's Prep. In 14 games played this season, a .270 average, 47 plate appearances, 3 runs, 10 hits, 7 RBIs, a triple, and a home run. Now the bench from the Prep coming alive here. First pitch to Sittler. That one high, ball 1. And now, this is what I said. Stay tuned in. The Hawks are alive, and they are not out of this. It was definitely not over before it started. And Sittler calls time, and you can kind of tell the Prep trying to call time a bit early because of the speed of Pye's pitches. He's just getting right back on the mound, and he's pitching, but you got to give him credit for it. It's kind of taken the Prep a bit off their game in the first inning, and it led to no hits, but now the Prep, 2 hits to start this game. And now the 1-0 to Sittler. That one a bit high, ball 2. You see the head nods from Sittler saying, no, 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 that's a ball. Coach Muth giving some encouragement to his shortstop. See if the Prep can get bases loaded here, and that would be a dream for Jack Keenan coming up. And here's the 2-0 to Sittler, and he hits this one to the mound. Play at home. Grasso is out. Unlucky there if you are Sittler and Grasso. But now the Prep with an opportunity to possibly still get a run in if Jack Keenan can maybe get one through the gap or something like that. But, you know, once again, a bit unlucky if you're Johnny Sittler. Fielder's choice, and the Prep not able to come across with a run there. Very unlucky. First pitch here to Jack Keenan. That one on the outside, ball 1. It looked like Keenan might have thought about swinging, but didn't go around. And Jack Keenan this season, in 14 games played, a .220 average, 47 plate appearances, 6 runs, 9 hits, 4 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a triple this season. I'm sure the Hawks would love to add another one of those hits and throw back to third. It goes past third, and now Ward is going to hold at third. Coach Mew saying there was interference, and he was hot about that one. He's still hot about it, and he's not going to get the call about the interference at third. And now a timeout going to be called by the umpires, and they're going to talk about this one. Coach Muth was coming out of the bench hot about that one. They're saying it was interference at third, and they're going to say they got nothing. Nothing was the final answer from the umpires. So it'll remain how it is. I think Coach Muth's argument is that it might have hit Sittler or Ward. And now the 1-0 to Keenan. Sittler stealing second, no throw. And Sittler into second safely. So now the Prep kind of back to square one. Got record runners on second and third. 2-0 to Keenan. There's a big opportunity for Keenan here. We'll see if he can get on with a base hit possibly. And Keenan, that one will drop in there for a strike. And you've seen those off speeds from Pye to start this at bat, but that one just gets right into the sweet spot. The Prep not really swinging at those off speeds though, which is a bit interesting. But it's led them to have runners on second and third, so who are we to judge as an audience? And now Pye going to step off the mound once again. He's not going to throw this go around, and that honestly might be the better option. But the fence not too kind to runners over at third. The backstop is a bit kinder to runners trying to steal home, but not kind to the runners at third. And now that one in there for a strike. It's 2-2 to Keenan, and now Pye would have an absolutely incredible comeback to this game if he was able to get a strikeout here, or just any type of out that would prevent a run. Keenan hits this one to second for a base hit. That will score Ward. Sittler coming into home, and he is safe. And now the Prep have taken the lead. That is what you needed if you are St. Joseph's Prep. Jack Keenan, 2 RBIs, and a base hit. And you hear the bench from the Hawks, and now they have the lead. First pitch into Murtha in there for a strike. And Murtha this season has been continuously playing over at second. Read his stats in just a second. Here's the pitch. That one hit into right. It's kind of hard to see, but the play is made for the out. Didn't even get a chance to read off Murtha's stats, but anybody who was wondering, a .257 average and 41 plate appearances, but we're going to have to move on here to Danny Matthews, who is been a guy like Ward, kind of, just getting in left field a bit late in the season. 12 games played, a .273 average, 22 plate appearances. That one inside, ball one. And now the 1-0 to Matthews. That one right down the plate for a strike. You can see Matthews was thinking about swinging at it, but decided not to go around. And now the 1-1 to Matthews. That one very low, ball two. Keenan, he was ready to go, but he quickly went back into first. And now the 2-1 to Matthews. That one hit to second, fielded cleanly, play over at first, made for the third out of the inning, but the damage is done. The Hawks take the lead, 2-1 over LaSalle College High School. We got a thriller going into the third inning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back on WSJP. Back here on WSJP, where St. Joseph's Prep have taken the lead over LaSalle College High School. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. For all the people that have doubted the Prep in this game, saying that they have no chance against one of the best teams in the PCL, they are beating LaSalle right now, 2-1 as we go into the top of the third inning. And now the first pitch from Grasso. That one hit to short. Play over at first, made for the first out of the inning. First pitch, 1 out. And the Prep, great way to start. And now, first pitch from Grasso. That one drops in there for a strike. And now, first pitch from Grasso. That one hit in the left. Matthews makes the diving play for the out. And just like that, in 3 pitches, there's 2 outs. And that was Schmidt who just flew out. And now Borgman up for LaSalle. And Borgman, he had the RBI in the first inning, and see if he can keep the momentum going with 2 outs. First pitch, that one on the outside, ball 1. The 1-0 from Grasso. That one foul tipped. It's 1-1 now. And now Grasso, a great start to this inning. I don't know if he expected to get 2 outs with just a few pitches, but now he has the opportunity to get out of the inning here. Waving off Heineken a bunch of times, and now the 1-1. That one low, ball 2. Now Grasso just trying to stay composed there on the mound. It's been a very quick inning for him so far, and I'm sure the Prep would love to keep it that way, get the bats back up. And now the 2-1. That one hit to Grasso. It's going to be hit through the gap for a base hit. Borgman now with 2 hits, and he is hot at the plate right now. LaSalle get a man on with 2 outs. And now Boganski up for LaSalle. He was on with a walk in his first appearance. And let's see if LaSalle are able to keep the momentum with 2 outs. But that is the key right there, 2 outs. It's going to be hard to do something with the momentum not really in your favor. First pitch low, ball 1. But LaSalle were able to do it in the first inning, so they could continue to keep things rolling here. We'll see if they do so with 2 outs. And LaSalle's bench not going away. They're going to keep chirping, going to keep yelling at their players to encourage them and all that. 1-0. That one hit through the gap for a base hit again. And everybody's going to hold it where they are. And now 2-on with 2 outs. Mullen now up for LaSalle. He's 0 for 1 in his first appearance. But LaSalle, they had the same amount of hits as the Prep. And you saw it earlier in the game that the Prep, they had less hits than LaSalle, and they were only down by 1. And now LaSalle, the same amount of hits as the Prep, but they're down 1. And now Grasso had 2 outs, and now all of a sudden has 2 on. Defense going to have to be on their A game. Timeout called by Mullen, not even going to get it. He looked right at the umpire, And now first pitch, that one in there for a strike. Mullen looked right at the umpire, and he didn't give him the timeout. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. 0-1 from Grasso coming in. Looking back as runners. Here's the 0-1. That one hit the third. Ward fields it cleanly, fumbling with it. Getting the play over to first. It is not going to be made by Keenan. And that hurts if you're the Hawks. Bases loaded with 2 outs. You just had 2 outs and nobody on if you're St. Joe's Prep. And I'm not sure if we're going to call that an error or an infield hit. I would think we're going to call it an infield hit. So that's what we're going to say. I don't have the official ruling. That's just kind of my guess. But we're going to say it's a hit, as there really was no real error made. First pitch from Grasso. That one on the outside, ball 1. And now Raby up for LaSalle. He struck out in his first appearance. First pitch. Second pitch from Grasso. That one in there for a strike. Great placement there by Inacone. Grasso just trying to get out of this inning, as he just had 2 outs with nobody on, and now all of a sudden, just seems like it's all not crashing down, but it's just, I don't know, something just happened. Now 2-1, that one on the outside. And now 2-1 over to Raby. It's got the advantage in the count. Here it is. That one foul tipped. And it's now 2-2. Possibly the payoff pitch coming in. Grasso with the advantage in the count. Raby stepping out of the box. I'm sure he knows what it means for everybody's momentum if he possibly gets out. I'm sure Grasso out there on the mound knows what it is too. The 2-2. Here it is from Grasso. That one. In there, strike 3 call. Got him looking. Chris Grasso gets out of the inning with bases loaded. And the Prep can take a deep breath in and out about that one. A very late call by the umpire, which I'm sure got everybody's stomachs nervous. And now we go into the bottom of the 3rd inning. Great start for Chris Grasso, and you'll love to see it. And now the Prep with an opportunity to get their bats going, as they are hot at the current moment in time. And I believe, the top of the order is going to come up for the Hawks. And in 9 total plate appearances, you got 3 hits. Do the math, that's a .333 average. You can't get much better than that. And obviously you got the lead right now. LaSalle, more hits than you, but as long as you can keep it going, then I think everything's going to be okay. Emilio Inacone back up for the Prep as he flew out into foul territory in his first at-bat. LaSalle, they were warming somebody up in the 2nd inning, but nobody currently warming up. They're going to keep Pye out there. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a reason why you would take him out, as 2 runs is nothing to get on your high horses about. And now the first pitch here to Inacone, and he hits this one foul. Prep's first 3 batters, they all got out in their first appearances, but it was really the bottom of the lineup. Inacone hits it to short. Fielded clean. The play over to first is made. What a play made by Chandler over at first to stretch out. And he gets the first out of the inning. You don't see that stretch out every day, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Veza now up for the Hawks. 0 for 1 in his first appearance. First pitch. to him. He's going to hit that one to first, foul. The Preps, first three guys, they're making contact. They're just not able to get it through the gap or keep it fair or stuff like that. Here's the 0-1 to Veza. That one hit to short once again. Fielded cleanly. Play over to first. Another great stretch by Chandler for the second out. And now Robbie Grasso up for the Hawks. He is 0 for 1 in his first appearance. And for Pi, I mean, he's gotten a great infield behind him. Only has one strikeout. You just tell how great the infield's been playing for LaSalle today. That one on the outside, ball one, and the Prep can finally breathe as just like last inning, 2 quick outs. And that one drops in there for a strike. Great off-speed stuff from Pi in this game. Has gotten the Prep to look at a lot of them. The 1-1 to Grasso, and he foul tips that one back. And now 1-2 to Robbie Grasso. Down quickly in the count. Gonna have to get himself back into this one. Here it is, the 1-2. And he foul tips that one once again. And it will remain 1-2. See if Pi can this time get out of the inning. Here's the 1-2. Grasso hits this one foul, and he just got that on the bad part of his bat, kind of right where the skinny part is. But he wants to get this one on the barrel. Here's the 1-2 again. Grasso hits this one deep into left, and that one is gonna hit off the wall. Grasso into second, has an opportunity for third. He's gonna go to third, and he is out. Great play made there to end the inning. Robbie Grasso was zooming there into third, but was not able to slide in to third safely, and that will end the inning. The Hawks go down 1-2-3 here at LaSalle University. We will go into the 4th inning when we come back. Back on WSJP, where the Hawks lead 2-1 over LaSalle College High School. And now the Prep trying to get another shutdown inning from their main man, Chris Grasso. And Wade is now up, the 9-hole hitter for LaSalle. He's 0 for 1 in his first appearance. First pitch to him. That one in there for a strike. Good way to start if you're Grasso. Had 2 outs very quickly in just a few pitches, and then all of a sudden gave up bases loaded, but was able to get out of the inning. Lucky for him. Nothing happened. Too bad. That one very high, ball 1. And now Grasso, the 1-on-1, a good start to this at-bat. Trying to get some of those quick outs once again. Here's the 1-1. That one hit foul into the football field, actually, at LaSalle University. And now it's 1-2. Grasso trying to get out of this at-bat with a possible strikeout. Here it is, the 1-2 from Grasso. That one on the outside, ball 2. Once again, kind of in those 1-2s, you don't want to give your batter anything really to swing at. Here's the 2-2 from Grasso. That one inside, ball 3. A full count here to start this at bat, and high pressure situation for both men. And now in the full count, here it is. That one high, ball 4. Take your base, Wade. And now LaSalle get their leadoff man on with the top of the lineup coming up. Grasso has given up 5 base runners due to walks and hit by pitches. And now Murray comes up for LaSalle, and one of those guys who have gotten on due to a walk is Murray. He walked in his last appearance. First pitch to Murray. Grasso's continuously looking back. Wade. That one on the outside. Iannacone gets up from his position, trying to tell Wade, without telling Wade, better stay over there at first. And now the LaSalle bench, they are loud. I can not even hear myself think, and I think the umpire is trying to tell them to settle down. And now that one high, ball 2, and I think Wade was about to take off there. The encouragement from the Hawks, and now a meeting from Coach McAllister and the infield. I think they got to kind of hush the LaSalle bench here, as they were absolutely loud. It felt like a Red October Phillies game, if you know what I mean. Meeting from the infield, and it seems like it's just a quick one. Could be one just to get Grasso and have his head back on a swivel. It's 2-0. Nobody out. Runner on first. And now we're back at it. All right, now we're back in this count, and the LaSalle bench right back to what they were doing. Guess the meeting at the mound didn't really do much to calm them down. Here's the 2-0. That one high, ball 3. Grasso taking his time out there on the mounds. Here's the 3-0 from Grasso. Wade taking off. That one high, ball 4 nonetheless. So doesn't matter. Coach Muth coming out there to maybe say something about the bench. I'm not necessarily sure. And now 2 on with no outs for LaSalle. Murray, who's on first. Now that was his second walk of the game, and now Clark up for LaSalle. He's 0 for 2 in this one with 2 strikeouts. LaSalle's bench keeps going. I got to turn up my microphone, ladies and gentlemen. I can barely hear myself think, because they are loud here. I'm not sure if that's what Coach Muth was talking about. Grasso stepping off the mound there, telling Iannacone come out to the mound, and we're going to have another pitcher's meeting. Just a quick one. But I don't think it's going to settle down LaSalle, guys. They have been absolutely electric in this inning ever since the first walk to Wade. Jack Keenan playing in for a possible bunt chance. That one drops in there for a strike, and now the encouragement to Grasso is what you need if you are him, as he's been put in a bad spot here. 2 on, no outs. But he does have somebody up that he struck out twice. And now the 0-1 to Schmidt. That one high, ball 1. Iannacone just consistently giving me a look after every one of those high balls. I think he's trying to, maybe he's trying to tell the audience I'm going to throw him out if he steals. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to tell me. Nonetheless, here's the 1-1. And Schmidt hits this one into the LaSalle football field, foul. And now Clark down 1-2 once again. He's already struck out twice. Here's the 1-2 from Grasso. Prep definitely need this one. Here it is. That one high, ball 2. You can kind of see Sittler over there just baiting Wade to take a bigger lead over at second. And the LaSalle bench just continuously staying loud, and we're gonna raise my headphones. I can't even hear myself. Here's the pitch. That one in there. Strike 3 called. Got him looking. Chris Grasso. Another strikeout, and Clark goes down on strikes for the 3rd time today. And now Chandler up for LaSalle. Iannacone putting his arms up. I'm not sure what the problem is. He's just saying forget it. All right, nonetheless, Chandler 0 for 1 in today's game. Was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. First pitch. That one hit high, not that deep. Veza makes the catch for the 2nd out. Tag over to 3rd. Murtha going to hold it. And there's now 2 outs in the inning. Now runners at the corners for LaSalle. Schmidt now up. Timeout called by the home plate umpire. Telling something to Coach Muth. I believe it was something about the noise that LaSalle is making on their side. As you know, I had to tell you guys to raise my my headset sound because of how loud their bench has been. And now the first pitch here to Schmidt. That one low. And I mean, you got to give credit to LaSalle's bench. It's kind of looks like it's thrown Grasso off his game ever since they've been loud and bringing the energy into it. I mean, I'm not criticizing them at all. If you're not going to get a warning from the umpire and you keep doing what you're doing to try and throw the guy off his game, you got to give him credit where credit is due. Here's the 1-0. That one in there for a strike. 1-1. And now the encouragement from the St. Joe's Prep side, trying to tell him to block out the noise. And I'm sure the audience at home is definitely telling him the same at the current moment in time. Coach Muth screaming out orders. Here's the 1-1. That one on the inside, steal over to second. Iannicum going to hold it at home. He did not want the steal home. And now runners in scoring position for LaSalle. So now a base hit. Possibly going to drive in too, but you got to get the base hit first. It's easier said than done. Grasso just going to step off the mound momentarily. Still 2-1. Grasso likes a suggestion from Iannicum. Here's the 2-1. And that one hit the third. It gets through for a base hit. 1 run will score. And here comes Murray. Matthews fumbling with it in left field. Play at second. He is safe. And a 2-run RBI double for Schmidt. Gives LaSalle the lead. And now Brogman up for LaSalle. First pitch, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Grasso trying to get out of the inning. Here's the 0-1. That one very low. Steal over to third. Iannicum was able to field it, but it goes past Ward. And now LaSalle will score another run. Schmidt gets in safely due to the error. And it is now 4-2. One and one from Grasso. Here's the pitch. That one hit high in Keenan's territory, and he makes the play for the third out of the inning. But the damage is certainly done by LaSalle. 3 runs scored in the inning, which gives them the lead 4-2. But this game has been close all game, and I don't anticipate it to be any less closer. And the umpires pulling out both coaches. Couldn't hear anything that the umpire was saying due to the bells, but I would assume that it's something about the noise, and yeah, it's something about the noise 100%. But LaSalle, they're going to stick by what they were doing. They're going to defend what they were doing, and I guess that is a formal warning. I'm not necessarily sure. But nonetheless, no matter what anybody thinks or whatever, it is still 4-2. And now Chris Grasso up to hit for the Hawks. And the last time Grasso was up, he was able to get the prep going, had a single, and we'll see if he can continue to get the prep going. But he did pitch a long inning, so we will see what he can get done in this at-bat. So Grasso, as I mentioned, he is 1 for 2 in today's game. First pitch to Grasso, that one very inside, ball 1. And now the 1-0 to Grasso. Swings and misses on that one. It's a strike. And now the 1-1 to Grasso. That one in there for a strike as well. It's 1-2. And now the 1-2. That one fouled off. Grasso a bit frustrated with. And he fouled that one off. And now the 1-2 here to Chris Grasso. He hits this one, fouled off once again. And now Grasso back into the box, trying to possibly get on here. He's down in the count currently. And he swings on that one and misses. Chris Grasso goes down swinging, and there is now 1 out in the inning. What is Pye's second strikeout of the game, and it's kind of surprising that, you know, he's been in for so long, he's played so decent, and he's only had 2 strikeouts. Will Ward now up. He's 1 for 1 in his first appearance. He doubled. And he takes that one for a strike. And he hits this one into center field. It's going to be a tough play, but it's going to be made for the out. And now Johnny Sittler up for the Hawks. He is 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice. And this has been a quick inning so far for Pye, but he's going to have to get out of this inning. Still a little bit to go. If you're Pye, Sittler hits this one foul. And now the 0-1 to Sittler. That one going to be called for a ball. Sittler was trying to call time, and the umpire just didn't give it to him. This one going to be waved off. And he went out of the box, Sittler. So I know if you give yourself up in the box, it's an automatic strike, and I think that's probably what's going to be called. It's the rule. If he steps out, it's an automatic strike. I'm not sure. I think I saw the umpire mouth 0-2. 0-2, yep, that's the official ruling. Stepped out of the box, can't do that. Sittler was trying to get time called, and he just stepped out of the box voluntarily. Here's the 0-2 to Sittler. And he hits this one to third. It's going to be a tough play, but it's fielded cleanly. Play over to first. Great stretch by Chandler, who makes the play for the out. That will end the inning. The Hawks go down 1-2-3. And we will go into the top of the 5th inning with LaSalle leading 4-2 over St. Joe's Prep. We'll be back here on WSJP. Don't go anywhere. Back on WSJP, we have a pitching change. Cole Kuhn stepping out onto the mound for St. Joe's Prep. And 5 appearances this season, a 2.80 ERA with 1 win and no loss. And we know how great Cole Kuhn can be. And this is obviously the time where I plug the CR7 podcast, but not before I mention that first pitch was fouled off. And yeah, make sure you guys listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast with myself and Cole, WSJP's own. And now another meeting between Coach Muth and the umpire. Umpire going out to talk to Kuhn. I'm not so sure what the problem is. Prep have continuously had issues with the balking rule. So that could be, it looks like Coach Muth is kind of, yeah, like showing what Cole's trying to do out there. Yep, this is definitely Coach Muth telling the umpire, we lost the game off this, and we don't necessarily agree that we lost the game. But nonetheless, we're back into it. Here's the 0-1. That one hit him. That one hit Boganski, and that could have possibly thrown Kuhn off. And Boganski gets on with a walk. He was 1 for 1 with a walk coming into this one, and now he gets on with a hit by pitch, but Cole already back into his pitching stance here. He is locked in and ready to go, as this is probably the biggest game of his young career here at St. Joe's Prep. And now Mullen is up for LaSalle. He's 1 for 2 in today's game. First pitch, that one fouled off. I suppose the umpire is trying to tell Coach Muth that was good. That was good by Kuhn. And now the 0-1 from Kuhn with a man on first. Here it is. That one got him swinging. Great pitch there by Kuhn. Got him to swing a bit late on that one and has the opportunity to get his first out of the inning. And now the 0-2 from Kuhn. Taking his time. Here it is. That one got him to look, and it was high. Einecone making sure there's no steal from Boganski over at first. He's consistently done that throughout the game. Just get out of his stance. Make sure there's no steal. It's kind of giving me that look like, don't even think about trying to say that LaSalle's going to steal. Here's the 1-2 from Kuhn. Looking back, Boganski over at first, and he steps off the mound. Could have possibly saw a steal incoming. Cole, great baseball IQ. Saw that line out he caught at Archbishop Carroll just a week ago. Here's the pitch. Got him check swinging. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Cole Kuhn, his first strikeout of the game, and Mullen going back to the bench, very frustrated, but there's now 1 out in the inning. Now Raby up for LaSalle with 1 out in the inning. And once again, Kuhn back into his stance as he is locked in, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you want to see. First pitch, Raby hits this one up the first base line. Foul. Once again, it's hard to see. Up this line, you can't really see much. But nonetheless, it's a foul ball. Now the 0-1 from Kuhn. And he drops that one in there for a strike. And now Kuhn with an opportunity here to get this batter done with, that being Raby. And Once again, see Kuhn right back in his stance. He wants to go. He wants to pitch. Here's the 1-2. That one on the outside. One and two now. Coach Muth telling Murtha to move over, and Sittler. Here's the 1-2 from Kuhn. That one, a swing and a miss! Cole Kuhn, his second strikeout of the inning. And Ravy goes down on strikes for the third time today. That one in there for a strike to Wade. Second one, a ball. One and one now. Cole with two straight strikeouts. Trying to possibly get his third. Second one, a steal over to second. Iannicum going to hold it, but a strike is called. And now Kuhn with an opportunity to get out of the inning. The payoff pitch possibly incoming. Prep trying to get their bats back up and back at it. They're going to need something here in the next inning. Murtha sneakily moving over to second. We'll see if Kuhn throws it back. And there's something actually in Wade's eye, it looks like. Maybe something in his eyeglasses. And it looks like he's okay. He's going to go back at it. We saw Kuhn throw a runner out at second and Archbishop Carroll with Tommy Murtha. We'll see if he's able to do that again. Doesn't look like he's going to attempt it, though. That one fouled off. Just in front of the bleachers of LaSalle University. Now the 1-2 from Kuhn, trying to get out of this inning clean. Here it is, the 1-2 from Kuhn. That one on the outside. Ball two. Kind of how I've mentioned throughout this game. The 1-2, the 0-2. You don't want to give your batter anything to swing at. You want to make them swing at something that's probably not your best work, or something that's on the purposely on the outside. You don't want to give them anything in there. But now here's the 2-2. Here it is. That one foul. And Wade, he's sticking with Kuhn. Consistently fouling off pitches, taking the bad ones, and got to give him credit where credit is due. But Kuhn, know how locked in he is. You've seen him in his stance repeatedly, just ready to get back and pitch. Here's the 2-2 from Kuhn. That one high, ball three. It's a full count. And now Kuhn with another opportunity to try and get out of the inning. Here it is, the 3-2. Outside, ball four. And Wade gets on with a walk. That's his second walk of the game. And now top of the order for LaSalle. Murray's now up 0 for 1 in today's game with 2 walks. It was also one of the 4 runs that LaSalle has scored. Coach Muth giving out an order to Robbie Grasso there in center. This first pitch on the outside, ball one. Kuhn stepping out of the box really quickly, or the mound, I should say. And now the 1-0 from Kuhn. That one on the outside, ball two. Kuhn consistently throwing that pitch on the outside. But LaSalle, they're not budging. Now the 2-0. That one a swing and a miss. Got him to swing a bit late on that one. It's 2-1. And now Kuhn, once again, just right back onto that mound. And you know, I'm going to say something about that tomorrow to him. He is locked in, ladies and gentlemen. The 2-1. Takes this one on the outside, ball 3, and now LaSalle with an opportunity to have bases loaded with 2 outs. All you need is another ball. See if Cole can drop one in there to possibly make this one a full count. Here it is, the 3-1. That one outside, ball 4. Murray takes his base. Coach Muth giving a long look to the umpire. I don't think he liked that one. Murray on with his 3rd walk of the game. And now Clark is up for LaSalle. 0 for 3 in today's game with 3 strikeouts. Iannacone and Sittler out to the mound to talk to Kuhn. Oh, home plate umpire probably just going to break up this conversation. And now everybody's on the same page. Hopefully for the Prep that will lead to the 3rd out of the inning, but only time will tell. First pitch to Clark. This one hit to Iannacone, foul. Iannacone got it with his bare hand. That could have been an easy tag for the out at home plate. As I've kind of implied, play at any base. Pitch low, 1-1. Can kind of feel the intensity at LaSalle. It's not getting as loud as it was in the beginning. Even the LaSalle bench a bit quieter. Here's the 1-1 from Kuhn. That one hit up the 3rd baseline, foul. And that one is a breath of hopefully good luck for the Prep, as you now have it 1-2, and hopefully you can take a deep breath in and out if you're the Hawks, as you now have the advantage in the count. But we have seen many times the Prep have had the advantage of the count, but have not been able to take advantage in the end of the at-bat. We'll see if they can do so here. Bases loaded, 1-2. Kuhn trying to end the inning. Here it is. That one on the outside, ball 2. And now Clark stepping right back in to the batter's box, trying to make this one a full count, possibly. Here it is, the 2-2. That one hit up the 3rd baseline, foul. LaSalle, they are making contact, just not so much have been able to put it in play. The 2-2 from Kuhn once again. We will do it again. Here it is. That one foul once again, and he was able to make contact on the off speed. They're going to see a lot of foul balls on that field tomorrow for whoever practices out there. 2-2 from Kuhn once again. Here it is, the pitch. That one got him to check swing. He went around. Strike 3 called. Cole Kuhn gets out of the inning with bases loaded. No damage is done, and the Prep are able to get their bats back up. With no damage done, Clark goes down on strikes for his 4th time today. Cole Kuhn, 3 strikeouts in the inning. And now the Prep come back up with Pye back on the mound. Somebody was just asking me what Cole Kuhn throws. I had to tell him that he had a 91-mile-an-hour sinker, ladies and gentlemen. People are impressed with the two sophomores. The only two sophomores on varsity, to be exact. Oh, I understand that the camera is frozen. Let me get that fixed for you all. One minute, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I hope that is a bit better at the current moment in time. I understand it might be a bit laggy. Yes, it is definitely a bit laggy. I will try to get this fixed at the break, but we do have a batter up. Jack Keenan, and his pitch is hit into the gap for a base hit. We'll see if he rounds for second. He will stop midway, and the prep with a base hit to start. Yes, once again, I understand the stream a bit laggy at the current moment in time. We will get this fixed for you all. And now, first pitch to Murphy. He's going to bunt. He takes this one high, ball one. This one also high, ball two. And now the 2-0. That one high, 3-0 now. That one on the outside, ball four, take your base, Tommy Murtha. And there are now two men on with no outs. I believe that the camera should be good for you all. I do apologize for that once again. It's bad when you're one person out here, but you know, we move. And there is going to be a meeting on the mounds. We'll see if there's a pitching change here. And I don't think we're going to get a pitching change. But Danny Matthews will come up for the Hawks. That was actually Pye's first walk of the game. Some good to see. Jack Keenan 2 for 2 today with a 2 base hits, and Coach Muth saying that LaSalle's gotten a little too much time out there on the mound, and I don't know, I might agree. It seemed like a little more time than what the prep was given, but I'm not here to disagree with the umpire. And now to Danny Matthews, trying to get the prep back into this one. Pye steps off the mound. Matthews 0 for 1 in today's game. First pitch this time, and coming to Matthews. It looks like he's going to bunt. That one going to drop in there for a strike. The prep willing to sacrifice a out for a base runner. Throw back to first, and Keenan is, Murtha, I'm sorry, is safe. That was a close one. Chandler, we know how great he has played today at first. His stretch, especially from those throws to third, from third and everything like that, have just been something incredible. Matthews going to try and bunt again. It's foul tipped, and it's now 0-2. Matthews might just have to think about swinging on this one. Doesn't want to foul out or anything. 0-2 to Matthews. Runners on first and second base. Here it is. He swings and misses on that one. There's actually was foul. I didn't really hear the tip, but maybe it's because I turned on my headphone volume. If you've listened throughout the broadcast, you would know. And it will remain 0-2. Here it is from Pye. That one on the outside, ball one. It looked like LaSalle wanted that one desperately. Borgman hold it a little longer than usual. I think he definitely wanted that call, but not going to get it. Matthews stays alive. Here's the 1-2. Matthews takes this one on the inside. Ball 2. Matthews once again stepping out of the box. Big couple of pitches coming in from Pye. Matthews calls time, and he steps out of the box. And now 2-2. Pye waving off Borgman a couple of times here. Here it is, the 2-2 to Matthews. Down, a swing and a miss. Strike 3 called. And Matthews goes down on strikes. Did a good job protecting the plate, though. And that is Pye's third strikeout of the game. Emilio Inico now up for the prep. He's 0-2 in today's game. Grounded out to short in his last appearance. And he is going to need a base hit in this one. 2 outs would not be favorable for the Hawks. First pitch to Iannacone. That one on the outside, ball 1. One and 0 to Iannacone. That one drops in there for a strike. Iannacone saw the strike. Pies use a lot of these off-speed pitches. Here's the 1-1. That one high, but it's going to be called for a strike. Iannacone shaking his head at that one. I've consistently said, don't make the call for the umpire. There's a lot of guys that like to walk to first base on a 3-ball count, and Iannacone kind of implied that it was high. And the umpire called a strike, and Iannacone steps out of the box. As it's 1-2, I think he knows the magnitude of this at-bat. An out of any kind is not going to be that great for the Hawks. Here's the 1-2. That one high. Ball 2. That one was definitely high. It's now 2-2. Big pitches coming in once again from Pye. Here's the 2-2. Iannacone swings and misses. Strike 3 called. And Iannacone goes down on strikes. And now Pat Vezza up for the Hawks, and Coach Muth calls time. He's going to call in his runners. He's going to actually call in Keenan. He's going to send out Kyle Allman to pinch run. Sometimes we have some complimentary runners, but this is a pinch run. Kyle Allman on at second. That just shows the confidence that Coach Muth has in Pat Veza. Has the confidence in him to get a base hit and possibly drive in at least one. Allman taking a big lead over there at second base. First pitch to Veza. He hits this one to second. That's a base hit. Allman rounding third. Murtha going to third. And everyone's safe. And then Veza will also go into second. An RBI single for Pat Veza, able to advance over to second, and the Prep now have cut it to 1. And there will be an intentional walk for Robbie Grasso, which will put him on base. And now, here comes Chris Grasso. And first pitch to Chris, that one on the outside, ball 1. It's 1-0 to Grasso. And he hits this one to first, fielded cleanly. Chandler steps on the bag for the out. The Prep able to add a run, but they're not able to take advantage of bases loaded. And we now go into the top of the 6th with LaSalle leading 4-3 over St. Joe's Prep. Cole Kuhn steps back out onto the mound, and we'll take a break here on WSJP. We'll be right back. Back at it on WSJP, where LaSalle College High School leads 4-3 over the Hawks. And first pitch to Chandler, hit to Sittler, play over first. It's low, it's going to bounce off the dirt, and Keenan makes the play for the first out. And that was a bit scary if you are a Hawk fan. But Keenan was able to make the play. And now Schmidt is up for LaSalle. Hit a double. He's 1 for 2 in today's game. First pitch, that one low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 from Kuhn. That one on the outside, ball 2. Kuhn's just walking around the mound momentarily. Here's the 2-0. That one low, ball 3. And not a good start for the sophomore Cole Kuhn. See if he can get back in this at-bat. The 3-0. That one in there for a strike. The 3-1. That one out inside, ball 4. Take your base, Schmidt. And LaSalle get a man on with no outs. And now Borgman is up. Looks like Coach Muth might be going out to the mound. Yes, he will. And this might be the end of Cole Kuhn's day. Yes, it will be. Pitching change for the Hawks. Eddie Dingle gets the call in a great game from Cole Kuhn. Nothing to take away from him. Scoreless. Give Cole credit. Give him lots and lots of credit. But Eddie Dingle has been incredible this season. The sophomore commit in 6 appearances. No earned runs, 1 win, no loss. And he looks to get the job done against LaSalle. And see him warming up. Something that I've seen from Eddie Dingle this season, an incredible slider. Pitched it all game against Roman Catholic and just was absolutely dominating them with that pitch. And obviously his fastball, nothing too shabby either. And he will get the call from St. Joe's Prep to try and finish this inning. And the Hawks, they got to get their bats back up. They're hot at the current moment in time. They've been hot for the majority part of the game. So once again, man on first for LaSalle. Dingle continuing to warm up. Looks like he's going to get one more, is what the umpire is stating. Borgman now up for LaSalle. He's 2 for 2 in today's game with 2 base hits. Borgman also has driven in 1 run of LaSalle's 4. First pitch from Dingle. That one in there for a strike. I'm telling you guys, that slider, watch for it. You might not be able to see the break on the angle, but watch for it. It is something. Dingle looking back. Schmidt over at first. Throw over to first. Not going to be able to make the tag. 0-1 from Dingle. Here's the pitch. That one in there. Throw over to first from Iannacone. It is a strike. The call. Tag over to first was not there. And it's now 0-2 to Borgman. Throw over to first once again. Tag. Nothing there. They're making sure Schmidt cannot steal. There hasn't been a stolen base in this game, which is definitely interesting because of how many stolen bases the Prep really have over the course of the season. Now the 0-2. That one hit into left center. Grasso makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Now Boganski up for LaSalle. He's 1 for 1 in today's game. Has also gotten on from a walk and a hit by pitch. Eddie Dingle trying to finish the inning for the Hawks. Throw over to first once again, and the tag will not be in there. Oh, I apologize for the camera. I think that was actually my fault. All right, first pitch from Dingle coming in. Here it is. That one high, ball one. Dingle, a deep breath out there on the mound. He's pitched great so far. Once again, knock on wood. Here's the 1-0. That one foul. There was a steal from Schmidt, but it's not going to matter. Schmidt back to first, and that's something that the Prep are going to have to be mindful of as we continue this game. It's now 1-1 to Boganski. Dingle giving a big look over to Schmidt at first. 1-1 from Dingle. Throw over to first once again from Dingle. That one was a bit closer than usual, but Schmidt is still safe at first. 1-1. See if we can do it this time. Sittler moving a bit over to his right. Here's the pitch. That one not going to be in there for a strike. That one a bit close. Dingle normally gets a call on that one. Two and one now. Throw over to first once again, and Schmidt is safe. Two and one from Dingle. He's consistently throwing the ball over to first, and Coach Muth's barking out orders to Ravi Grasso in center field. That one low, steal over to second from Schmidt. He's going to be in there standing. And now it's 3-1 with Schmidt advancing over to second base. And now Dingle trying to at least make this a full count. Here it is, the 3-1. That one outside, ball four. Boganski on with a walk. So he has gotten on 3 times due to a hit by pitch or a walk. And now that'll bring up Mullen. He's 1 for 3 in today's game with a single. And now Dingle back to square one. Except this go around, he's got 2 men on. Here it is, the first pitch from Dingle. That one hit high, not deep at all. Grasso sees it, makes the play for the out. That ends the top half of the 6th inning. The Prep give up a few runs, but do not let them score. Eddie Dingle comes in and locks down LaSalle. And now we go into the bottom of the 6th. Lots of action in today's game, ladies and gentlemen. A combined 11 hits from both teams, and also a combined 7 runs. And we have a new pitcher on the mound for LaSalle, Declan Cawley. In 7 appearances this season, a 2.49 ERA, 5 wins, 1 loss. Get an opportunity to look at him before Will Ward comes up for the Hawks. Wardy is 1 for 2 in today's game with a double, and that is what the Prep need to start this inning off with, as you only are going to have possibly 2 more opportunities to hit in this game. And Cawley, he throws that one quick. Throws that fastball really fast. Might need one of those speed guns, whatever they call them. Yeah, that's a quick fastball. And now we go into the bottom of the 6th, with LaSalle leading 4-3 over the Hawks. Will Ward up for St. Joe's Prep. The Prep with a .315 batting average in this game. Trying to increase that number here. First pitch to Ward. That one quickly down for a strike. I don't know if Ward's expecting the speed on that fastball. That is something right there. Here's the 0-1, and he takes that one low for a ball. Here's the 1-1 to Ward, and he swings and misses on that one a bit late. It's 1-2. 1-2 to Ward. Here's the pitch. That one high. It's ball 2. And now 2-2. Count favoring Cawley. And now the 2-2. Ward fouls that one off onto the football field. And it will remain 2-2 here. Cawley trying to get his first out of the inning. Here it is, the 2-2. Ward once again fouls that one back. Swinging a bit late on those, but staying alive in the count. You got to give him credit where credit is due. Here it is, the 2-2 to Ward once again. That one inside ball 3, and it's a full count to start the inning. 3-2 to Ward. He hits this one into left center. That one's going to drop for a base hit. And Will Ward gets on with a bit of a blooper over into left center field. And the Prep get a base runner. Pinch runner coming in. And George Van Deen in for the Hawks. Love it when George Van Deen gets in there. Gotta love George Van Deen running the bases. Watch him to steal. He has been absolutely incredible on the base pass over the course of this season. 17 stolen bases, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I read that right. 17 stolen bases. Johnny Sittler now up for the Hawks. He's 0 for 1 in today's game, and he bunts that one foul to start. And the Prep trying to give up an out for a base runner, and you would love to have George Van Deen on second base in scoring position. Oh, and 1 to Sittler. We'll see if he continues to bunt. LaSalle's infield not moving anywhere in. I think they're worried about Van Deen on first. This one very high. Throw over to first. Van Deen in there safely. That pitch was definitely to try and get Van Deen over at first, as he is a speedster, as we know. Sittler trying to call time. He's consistently saying it. This one bunted in front of the mound. Cawley throw over to first. Makes the play for the out. And the Prep get what they wanted. And now Keenan, 2 for 2 in today's game with 2 singles. He's the hot man at the plate. And now with an opportunity to tie this game up with the speedy George Van Deen over at second base. First pitch to Keenan. That one way inside. He's got to back out of there. 1-0. Van Deen going to steal third. This one out of the glove of Bogonski. And it is now 2-0 with George Van Deen on third. So a base hit or even just a little blooper in the infield will drive in Van Deen. You know he's going to take a big lead over at third. Now the energy's high. Everybody's yelling. And Coley stepped off the mound. The anticipation in for everybody. Everybody's mouth open. Fingernails being bit. That one on the inside. 3-0. One more, and the Prep will have runners on the corners, but that will create a double play opportunity, which is possibly something LaSalle could take advantage of. But here's the 3-0. That one in there for a strike. Three and one. Keenan swings and misses on that one a bit late. It's a full count now, and this is a very, very big pitch. Here it is, the full count. Keenan takes that one for a strike three. And there are now 2 outs in the inning. Tommy Murtha now up for the Hawks. Murtha, we'll see if he can drive in Van Deen. First pitch, low, ball 1. And kind of going back to Keenan's at-bat, you can't run over to first. The umpires do not like that. The 1-0 to Murtha. He takes that one for a strike. The 1-1 to Murtha. He hits this one to short. It's fielded cleanly. Play over at first. Made for the out. And that ends the inning. The Prep get a man on third. Not able to do anything with them. It is still 4-3 LaSalle as we go into the final inning of work. Eddie Dingle back out there for the Prep. See if he's able to get the job done when we come back. Back on WSJP, final inning of this game. We're in the 7th as LaSalle leads 4-3 over the Hawks of St. Joseph's Prep. First pitch from Dingle, and this one hit high. I have no clue where it's going. And it drops in the infield for an infield hit. Raby is on with an infield hit. I had absolutely no clue it dropped in there. Well, the Prep give up a base runner. I don't believe anybody called it in the infield. I don't think anybody knew where it was. And now, first pitch to Wade. That one high, ball one. One and 0 to Wade. Here's the pitch. That one in there for a strike. It's 1-1 now. Dingle trying to get something to go his way after an unfortunate turn of events in the first at-bat. The 1-1 now from Dingle's going to be thrown back to the first. And Raby in to first safely. The 1-1 from Dingle. Here it is this time. That one drops in there for a strike. Or, no, it's not going to. Normally I've been able to tell where the umpire is going to call strikes or not. I've kind of figured them out, but that one, he did not call a strike. He normally calls his pitches a bit late. Ah, very interesting there. 2-1 now. That one hit into right. Veza sees it, and he makes the play, but there was no tag up. Keenan tags at first. Double play. I think Raby thought that the ball was going to drop, and I don't know if he didn't see it, but nonetheless, it's a double play. And now Murray is up. Murray 0 for 1 in today's game with 3 walks, and he takes that one on the outside, ball 1. One and 0 to Murray from Dingle. Here's the pitch, and this is actually going to be a bunt from Murray. It's in the air. It's a good bunt, but it's going to go foul. Unfortunate there for Murray. Was so good, and then just the curve on the ball made it go foul, and that is very good for Iannacone and company, as that could have been not disastrous, but it certainly wouldn't have helped the Prep get out of the inning in any way, shape, or form. And now 1-1 from Dingle. Here's the pitch. That one low, ball 2. Hear the encouragement from the crowd of St. Joe's Prep. Eddie Dingle. 2-1. Here's the pitch to Murray. He hits this one high. It's going to go out of play. Foul. And now Dingle with an opportunity to end the top half of the 7th inning. Dingle has the 2-2 to get the Prep back up. Here it is. That one low, ball 3, almost hit Murray off the bounce, but it's a full count now. And now the full count from Dingle, trying to end the top half of the inning, wants to get the Prep back up to the plate to try and possibly tie this game, but he has to get the strikeout first. Here it is, the 3-2. That one, outside ball 4. Coach Muth is absolutely livid. Coach Muth said he needs to know why that was a ball. And now the umpire telling Coach Muth to go back to his dugout. I'm not here to give my opinion, but that certainly looked like it was in there. Infield umpire said something to the home plate umpire. I couldn't hear because I was talking. Kind of my thing. Nonetheless, it's a walk for Murray. That's his 4th walk of the game. And now Clark is up. He's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. First pitch to Clark. That one in there for a strike. Clark steps out of the box momentarily. It's 0-1. That one, a swing and a miss. Steal over to second. Iannacone going to hold it over at home. Murray steals. But now for Dingle, it's 0-2 with another opportunity to end the inning. And now Clark going to be pulled over by the coaching staff of LaSalle. And Clark getting a generous amount of time to talk. Oh, and 2. Dingle with an opportunity to end the inning. Looking back, Murray over at second. The 0-2 from Dingle. Sets. Looks back the runner. Now fires. Foul. Oh my goodness, it went right into the LaSalle dugout and almost hit a guy. It might have actually hit somebody. Good reflexes there. I guess that's why you play baseball. That was scary. That was very scary. I've never seen that happen. A lot of things I haven't seen happen today. But learn something new every day, I guess they say. But nonetheless, 0-2. Dingle with another opportunity to end the inning. And hopefully this time it won't possibly hurt somebody. Here's the 0-2 once again. The pitch. That one hit over to second. Murtha fields it. Throw over to first on the run. Makes the play for the out. And that ends the top half of the inning. The Prep with one more opportunity, down 4-3 to LaSalle. And they need a run or 2. And it looks like there's an argument over at first between Clark and the umpire. I think the first base coach trying to pull him away. I think he might have thought that he was safe there, but before we get back into this one, Cauley's still out on the mound for LaSalle. I'm going to give the viewers an opportunity here. Get your popcorn, get your snacks, get your drinks. You don't want to miss this bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back on WSJP. back on WSJP for the final half inning of work. Danny Matthews up for the Hawks. As the 9-hole hitter, he's 0 for 2 today, so it's 9-1-2. And everybody is a combined 1 for 8 in that order. First pitch to Matthews in there for a strike. So it's not in the favor of the Hawks, but you've seen momentum switch in a lot crazier of ways. Here's the 0-1 to Matthews. He swings and misses on that one. It went off the dirt. It's 0-2. Oh, and 2 to Matthews. Here's the pitch. That one high, ball 1. Matthews trying to stay alive here at the plate. The 1-2 to Matthews. He swings and misses on that one. Strike 3 called. That's the first out of the inning. Matthews down on strikes for the second time today. Emilio Inico now up. He went down on strikes his last appearance. And the Prep need a base runner now. Here's the first pitch to Inico, and he takes that one high, and it looks like it hit him in the helmet. Yes, it did, and he threw his bat, almost hit Coach Muth and Robbie Grasso. But the Prep get that runner that they needed. Pat Veza now on, and Chris Steintmez, complimentary runner for Emilio Inico. And now Pat Veza up for the Hawks. He's 1 for 3 today with a base hit. He's also struck out. That was in his first appearance. Robbie Grasso on deck for the Hawks. Now a runner on first with 1 out. Chris Steintmez, as I mentioned, the complimentary runner. First pitch to Veza. That one a swing and a miss. Got him a bit late. It's 0-1. Pat Veza has been consistent in hits this season. Has gotten not much more than base hits this season. And he foul tips that one for a strike. It's 0-2. The encouragement from the St. Joe's Prep side, but the LaSalle bench is louder than ever. Veza trying to stay alive here. The pitch from Cawley. He swings and misses on that one. Strike 3. And there are now 2 outs. Robbie Grasso up for the Hawks. Veza goes down on strikes for the second time today. Robbie Grasso, 1 for 2 today, has walked as well. And was intentionally walked his last time up at the plate. And now he tries to drive in Chris Steintmez. The pitch from Grasso. He swings and misses on that one. It's a strike. Oh, and 1 to Grasso. The pitch, he takes that one high. It's 1-1. For the Prep, don't need to play hero ball if you're Robbie. Just need to maybe drive Chris over to third, and then you maybe rely on your brother Chris Grasso to drive him in. The pitch to Robbie, that one hit high and foul. The Prep down to their final strike at LaSalle University. The LaSalle bench louder than ever, and you hear the claps and the cheers from both sides of parents, alumni, staff, and whomever you can think of that are in the crowd here. Here's the 1-2. Steintmez stealing second. It looked like Grasso went around. Yes, he did, and that will do it. St. Joe's Prep fall to LaSalle 4-3. And if you are the Hawks, nothing to be discouraged of. You were not looked at as the favorites coming into this game, and you only lose by 1 run. That is definitely something to look forward to if you are St. Joe's Prep. So now the Prep in their PCL record. They will fall to 5-6, 7-9 total on the year. LaSalle, they improve mightily on the year. Their PCL record will improve to 10-1 and 15-3 on the year. Upcoming on WSJP tomorrow, baseball at Father Judge, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you all tune in. And then on Friday, we have lacrosse at 7 p.m. at Radnor. And then on Saturday, make sure you all tune in to the Illest Elite. We'll be live at 5 p.m. for the first game. We'll be going until about 9:30 that night. So make sure you guys tune in to all those. And then back at it for the end of the regular season for baseball next Monday versus Penn Charter. And yeah, that will do it for WSJP. I would like to thanks to Coach Stins for taking me to the game. Yeah, it's only me today, but yeah, thanks to Coach Stins for taking me to the game. Great game here at LaSalle University. One you definitely did not want to miss, and one that everybody's going to be talking about tomorrow morning. From myself, Ryan Sullivan, that will do it here from LaSalle University. I say thank you, have a good night, and go Pro.